juice. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of guys who want to know why the fuck should they even bother in the first place, and a lot of girls who want to know why in the fuck can't I get married?
Or some of them want to know why should they bother in the first place.
Well, I think they already know. They get half the shit. So, baby, what we're going to do is we're going to have a nice private conversation just between the two of us and everybody else listening. Huh?
But you said that like as if the women or the woman doesn't make no money.
I ain't trying to say that, but...
You said they get half their shit. What if they...
But traditionally...
man gets half their shit. Because, you know, it goes like that.
Now, we'll say, that's lightning in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle.
That's lightning in a bottle. That's a unicorn. You talking about the Wendy Williams situation. That's the
only
Wendy Williams.
Say it's a lot of them.
Wendy Williams' husband is probably the only one walking away with half of it.
No, I know another friend of mine.
Listen, beautiful, take your drink.
Okay.
You're speaking too clearly.
Hey, peace and blessings. So I just really wanted to share something real quick while I'm getting myself together this morning, and before I forget it, because this is what I'm trying to do, really get these thoughts out before I forget it. But I wanted to respond to this discussion that they're having between T.I. and Tiny, and they're having this, like, they're just speaking about relationships. One, because they said that the woman trying to figure out, like, women trying to figure out, you know, why they're not married, and there's a percentage of men trying to figure out if it's even worth it, right? And so she was Tiny asked him, like, you know, why you say that, why men trying to figure out if it's worth it. And then she said, no, I'll take it back. She said, women trying to figure out if it's still worth it too. And he said, it is worth it. She said, why you say that? He said, because women get half. And so she was like, well, you say that like men don't be getting half. And he said, well, that's far in between. You know, that's happened like very seldom. It happens, but it happens very, very seldom. And you can't even compare, you know, the percentages of how often that women get half from men versus men get half from a woman. Anyway, you know, when I go into that, because I was going to go into that a little bit about that little piece, but the main thing I wanted to talk about, because this is what resonated with me, and it was about the whole independence piece. They made a statement about being independent and how really, like, all together people not really seeking relationships no more. And they're talking about on the independent level, right? Well, here's one thing I want you to understand. I believe that the reason definitely is probably the same, because people are kind of tired of putting up with all the extra. But I believe that it is the financial power that is making it difficult. I believe that it is the chase for the bag. It is the ideal of where a person wants to be in life. It is, you know, it's all of that. It's our desire for material position. It's our desire for a financial position that is making relationships so challenging today. Because here it is. You have individuals who see other people who live in a certain type of lifestyle, whether it be on TV or even personal relationships, and it seems like they are doing so financially good, and the relationship seems beautiful. And it's like, even though y'all may have some problems here and there, being in a financially stronger situation definitely makes it worth it, right? Now, I believe that can be the case. I believe that finance definitely matters. I believe that you being able to handle your financial obligations and responsibilities, as well as have freedom to kind of move around and do things, not have to go to work if you don't want to, be able to travel the world if you want to, you know, all that matters, to be able to go see your kids' game. Yeah, so the finance definitely is important. And important to, you know, to have it on a certain level. It's important. And while I also say it's equally as important what one consider comfort. You know, that's also important, because that's going to determine how much it's going to take for you to be comfortable. You know, and I think on a lot of levels today, sometimes that can be very extreme. You know, do I need a 13, 14, 15 bedroom house? I've heard people rationalize. They say, yeah, I might have family. I might have family that come over here, you know, for the holidays, this, that, and another. I mean, so you were saying you would buy a house this big, and you're not like the grandmother. You're not the mother of 16 kids or the father of 16 kids. You are, you know, amongst a family group, and you're referring to the cousins and aunties and all them may be coming over. And of course, if you're the only person with the biggest house and y'all have events regularly, then of course that your place would be the place to go, right? But to say, is it necessary? It's a want, but it's necessary. It's not a necessity, but it's a desire. And I'm not judging it. I mean, I get enough money. Who say I won't? But I'm saying, here's my point is that the reason that we strive, for a certain amount of money to make us comfortable is also a very significant factor. So when we find out, why do I say this? Because here it is. Relationships were put together, or the relationships or the natural inclination for man and woman. Let me back up. The creation of man and woman, the creation of man and man given a helpmeet, right, was designed for what? To help, right? To help each other, to support each other. You know, and not just like on no physical, go toward the earth type of way, but in many different ways, psychological or spiritually, mentally. So if it was divinely meant for us to support each other, but today we say, I don't need you, you know, then there has to be a problem there. I would say that's a very noticeable problem there. For me to say something is divinely, there's a divine reason for why we was created. We was created to help each other, but I reach a point to say I don't need you. Why do I say I don't need you? I say I don't need you because of my financial position. Most of the time, as long as I'm able to pay all my bills and take care of everything I need to take care on a financial level, a lot of time we reach a point of saying I do not need you. And so therefore, if I'm not working on myself to try to be the best individual I'm trying to be, if she's not working on trying to be the best individual she needs to be, so therefore because of my financial position, I take a position that, you know, you need to accept me how I am because this is who I am. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but this is the state. This is the state that we live in right now. This is the condition that we live in right now. And the only thing that I can honestly see is going to make it better is the destruction of the world in reality as we know it. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a very hellish situation. It's going to be a very tormenting, and so when you think about hell, you know, as a result of what we produce as a result of what we're not doing, as a result of the obligations we're not fulfilling, to ourselves first and then to everything else, to our mate, to our kids, to creation and all that, right? The hell that we are creating with our hands. What is the hell? The hell is everything that is bringing anything but peace to your life. The government, the food, the water, your mate, I mean, you know, men, women, I mean, all of the imbalances in creation are the result of what the human being is doing and not doing. And you see, with every striving that we make, a sacrifice has to be made. But we have reached a point to where we become so selfish in our striving to where we want to make little sacrifice unless it's just totally for self-benefit. Totally for self-benefit. And it reaches a point to where as long as I'm striving to be myself, and you striving to be you, there's no way that we can possibly ever harmonize because we're living on such a selfish level of existence. And I'm going to tell you, that's not something that can be changed overnight. We have so many selfish inclinations that we have adopted, that has been entrenched in us from through a lot of unhealthy social programming and a lot of unhealthy forms of love that we can't even recognize it. We can't even recognize our selfish inclinations, our selfish negative inclinations. I emphasize. And so it is this thing of acquiring the bag. It is this thing for financial independence. That's one of the major things that has caused a rift and disharmony in the union between a man and a woman. Because anytime one is so selfish and I reach a point because of what I materially have, I say that I don't need you. So therefore, my tolerance level is less. You know, what I'm willing to accept and not accept is less. The only time you find unions that seems to accept stuff that they don't really want to accept, when they begin to go through all this mental health, all this crying and stuff, when they accept that, that's because their mate has something that they want. Their mate 9 times out of 10 is in a stronger financial position than they are. And so therefore, they're clinging to that individual because of the benefit that individual bring in their world in regards to their financial position in life, and not because of who they are. Yeah, that part of who they are may come into play somewhere down the line. Yeah, I miss you, this, that, another, but remove this person's wealth and will you still value them the same? It's going to take you to become introspective of that, of who you are and the things that move you, for you to really come to terms with that. Most people gravitate to each other because of what we have and the way you treat me with what you have and the way that makes me feel, opposed to totally who you are. And see, who you are should be the thing that resonates beyond us going out to eat all the time, me sending you around the world, us traveling together all the time, us whatever, you know what I'm saying? Those things requires a lot of finances. And yes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be able to express your admiration and your love and your value for you and yours in those ways. However, that's why when you hear that, here's another way to drive that point. That's why when you see guys who are wealthy and they married a woman who they was with in high school, that's because he knows she knows him. He know that she's with him because of who he is and not what he has. And that's why those kind of relationships have the strongest foundation. But if it takes for an individual to acquire a certain amount of wealth before he begins to get a certain amount of attention, then he may accept it and walk into it. But I'm going to tell you something. His soul will not let him deny the truth. His soul is going to convict him and let him know, you know, that she don't really love you for who you are. That's why you got to lie. That's why you got to strive so hard to make sure that she always believes that you are in a financial position that you're in. And a lot of us unconsciously become like subservients to that, even to that expectation of women. You know, women have brothers programmed to the point to where, yeah, we don't get me wrong, we're supposed to be in a financial position to provide a home for a woman, to be able to put food in her mouth, to be able to put clothes on her back. Men are supposed to be by divine obligation in a position where he can do so. But he's supposed to be in a position where he can buy her Benz and wrap her in Gucci and Louis Vuitton and send her on trips and go out and eat at the restaurant. No, that's beyond. That's earthly. That's vain. That's vainglorious. But those are the ideas that men are trying to aspire to. That's why we blinging and walking around like that and gotta have a foreign card out, because we want to appear a certain way. And sisters who also want to feel, you know, appear that they're worthy of all this treatment, they also surround themselves and dress themselves up a certain way so that they can also appear to be a certain way, to appear to be in a certain position in life. And you know, there's another thing about that we have to truly work on ourselves about. And here's this right here. Some of us, because of that programming, which is so entrenched, a brother or a sister may be used to a certain type of environment. But when you go out of that environment into, let's just say, a lesser environment, whether it be someone's neighborhood, someone's home, someone's whatever, right? You naturally begin to feel that this is not you. This is, you know, this person, this is not going to make you happy. This is not enough for you. This is not something that you're comfortable in. This is not something that's going to, the person is a cool person, this, that, and other, but it's like because of their environment, because of where they sit at the moment, you take so much from them. You know, and I say this because it's something I've experienced. It's something I've went into. I'm saying, even with me telling you what I'm telling you, it's something I'm aware, and this is why it resonated with me. I'm like, wow, how can I have that perception of people when I've been here before? You know, and I'm not taking away from them as a person, but it takes something away from the potential of you and that person being in a relationship. That's what I'm really pointing at. I'm not saying that I don't take nothing from the person. I deal with people on a genuine level. However, because you can't just fall in love with just a person's character. You can't fall in love just with a person's physical position. You know, I don't know about you if you can fall in love with a person's wealth or not. I mean, I haven't never dated a woman just for that reason on that level, but some women have. Some women have just dated a person because of what a person has. You know, and probably has fell in love with the person eventually because of how he treated her with what he has, right? But my point in closing is that our love, our striving, and our reason for why we have to have a certain thing is one of the things that has caused such difficulty in harmonizing and uniting with another man or woman. You know, of course you're opposite, right? I'm saying that's just where I stand. You know, if you into the same sex thing, that's your thing. But I'm saying where I stand is that it's the opposite. So why a man can't unite with a woman, why a woman can't unite with a man, it has a lot to do with that financial position. It has a lot to do with that. But one more thing in closing. Men strive to everything man does at his core, no matter how much he strives to acquire, he does it for his desire to get the eye of a particular either woman, for women, or for a particular ideal of a woman. That's just the way he's made up. If you remove women from, that's why if you got in a prison environment, if you move women from the environment, men have the potential to sink to a low appearance. He stopped caring how he looked. He stopped caring how he smelled sometimes. Not all, I'm saying some people like that. I've seen it. I've even bro, why you won't comb your hair? Bro, I'm not trying to please nobody. I'm like, it should be because you. It's the way you want to be. You want to present yourself to anybody at all times. But anyway, my point is that men strive for the eye of a woman. Women strive for security. Women strive for security. Women strive for independence. But independence is security. That's your nature. And this is why when you strive in the way you do, and you reach a point saying you don't need nobody, you become very, almost impossible to unite with on a true pure level. It becomes difficult unless he has way more than you. And then that's what puts things on a certain balance. Unless he has way more than you. But when black sisters are trying to find men that level up with them on that level, when black men are being attacked by the system in many different forms from a child on up, and also being demasculized by their mothers, and you try to find this mate based on this criteria, this is why it becomes so difficult. Because he has to have a certain financial status for you to even submit mentally and psychologically and emotionally to him. You may submit on a physical level, on a sexual level, and that might not even be a submission to where you're totally committed and loyal to him though. He's just making have sex with you sometimes. Y'all may even coincide, cohabitate for a little bit. Maybe, possibly, maybe, if you make more than him. Maybe. But I don't think that's going to be a common case at all. But anyway, with that being said, I hope that you really understood what I was pointing out. If you have any questions, any comments, please get into the comments. Please, my YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. That gets the videos to generate for more people to see them. So definitely don't forget to do that. Anyway, peace.